Be patient with your progress. It will shift. And then you get to have this much more aligned lifestyle habits and behaviors that are going to support you through perimenopause and menopause much easier if you're patient and you don't see it as a quick fix and you actually see it as a lifestyle changes.
Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started. Be it, babe. This is going to be a fabulous, fun conversation about women's hormones, hormone health, gut, microbiome, your cravings, binge, people-pleasing, self-care, priority of self. Like, this is all the things. And we've had different people dance around these topics. We've had like hormone person or an emotional eating person or these kind of, and now I have someone who's an expert in all of it, all in one show for you. And it really connects all the dots, but also hopefully empowers you. It's never too late to start taking care of yourself. Because if you want to be it till you see it, if you want to be the strong, amazing human in this world, we have to take care of ourselves. And so we're going to talk about what's going on with your body that could be affecting you. And we're going to talk about, some things you can make, the easy changes you make in your life to make it easier to go into perimenopause, to be in perimenopause and post-menopause. So here is Amber Romaniuk. Hey, Be It Babe. This is going to be a fun conversation. I can already tell our guest today and I just met a moment ago, but we're already talking about nails and life and perimenopause and menopause. And so Amber Romaniuk, thank you so much for being here. You're the host of this No Sugarcoating Podcast. Can you tell everyone who you are and what you rock at?
Yeah, and thank you for having me today. I am an emotional eating, digestive, and hormone expert with 11 and a half years of experience coaching women all over the world to claim what I call food and body freedom, which is really about claiming and understanding what's going on in your body physically, hormonally, digestively, blood sugar, etc., and getting to the roots of your symptoms, your weight loss blocks, but also looking at the habits, behaviors, and mindsets that are keeping you stuck and not helping you heal. So helping you overcome the binge eating, the emotional eating, the people pleasing, the negative self-talk, the low self-worth, so that you can make yourself a priority and that all assists in the physical, mental, emotional, energetic healing.
Yeah. First of all, love that you expert, like you didn't even stumble on that word. Like you were like so proud of it. I just adore women who can call themselves that proudly and confidently. So thank you. You are. And also I love that you brought up people pleasing and prioritizing ourselves, because whether or not you are, wherever you are in your body journey, people pleasing can affect us in many different ways. That can be affecting us how we eat, but it also can be affecting us with how we treat ourselves and the things that we do. So okay. Can we take a step back and kind of go into like, how did you get here and how did you get so passionate about helping people through this journey?
Yeah, so it really was a personal journey that I had to go through myself. And so I grew up and at a very young age started struggling with body image issues. I was 5. It was my first day on the bus and the older boys called me fat and ugly and then the whole bus made fun of me, and that identity of fat and ugly I really took on for the next 20 years of my life. And I grew up in a household with great parents. However, my mom was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis before I was born, and so she used food as a coping mechanism. I didn't know at the time, but everything we did revolved around food. And so I created an unconscious emotional connection to food at a very young age and didn't realize it. And I could eat whatever I wanted whenever I wanted. So there was a lot of sugar, a lot of processed food. And then you hit your tweens and teens and you start struggling with body image, right? You reading all the magazines, comparing yourself to celebrities. What's wrong with me that I don't look like that? And then I started dieting. And then into my early 20s, I had my first real breakup, was so upset, could barely eat, lost weight really fast, became asphyxiated with my body, picked myself apart even more. My cycle disappeared. And then it was just like this switch flipped. And it was like, this is too hard to attain. And I started binge eating. And I would eat until I was so full I was sick. I gained like 70 to 80 pounds in 4 months. Now I was the heaviest that I had ever been, just so ashamed, so embarrassed, binge eating multiple days through the week. went through a phase of about 6 months of binging and purging because I thought if I can prevent gaining weight, I will do this, but obviously it just like stressed my body out even more. And I just ended up in a full-blown food addiction where I was either losing control with food and eating until I was so full I was sick, or trying to grip onto the next diet, the next eating style, the next workout craze to try and gain some form of control with food. And now, of course, none of that was working, and it was just this boomerang of all or nothing. I'm either trying to be perfect on a diet or I'm losing control with
Mhm.
food. And for me, my low point moment, which I don't wish for people to have to go through a low point, but sometimes we need it to kick us in the butt and
Yeah.
help us like go, okay, something has to change. But my low point moment was I would throw the food in the garbage because if I threw it in the garbage, I'm like, I'm not going there. I'm not going to dig through the garbage and eat the food. It was a turn off. So that night I'd thrown the food away. And at this point, a couple years into this behavior, I started to realize I was binge eating, but I didn't know how to deal with it. And so I'd thrown the food away. Specifically, it was Oreo cookies. And I was laying on the couch crying, just like, I am afraid for my life. I don't know if I'm going to make it to 30. I was about 22 at the time. If I keep in this destructive behavior, because I was very hard on myself. And a few hours later, as the food settled, I thought, well, if this is the last time I'm going to do this, all or nothing mentality, I'm going to go get those cookies and I don't care. And so I went into the kitchen and I did. I dug through the garbage, grabbed the cookies. Then I went outside and threw them in the dumpster and went back later, like out into my back alley of my apartment and like dug through again.
And this is where we can see it's an addiction like any
Yeah.
drug. You
Oh,
know,
totally.
I mean, because it's like you could insert cocaine or
Yeah.
cigarettes or alcohol in there.
Alcohol.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and food was my drug of choice. Thank God it wasn't cocaine or alcohol. I probably wouldn't be here today because it was such a compulsive, like, all the time behavior, and so after I did that, a couple of really important things happened. The first is we get comfortable in our comfort zones of suffering. Even if you're suffering, you will continue to do what is familiar because it feels safe to your brain.
Yes.
And so I was terrified of the unknown, terrified and overwhelmed about thinking about how do I start even dealing with this? I've
Hmm.
got like 80 pounds to lose. I'm out of control with food. My gut's a mess. Like I'm a mess. Like I don't even know where to start. And that was overwhelming.
Yeah.
And, you're afraid of the unknown. Who am I going to be if I'm not using food as a crutch? I'm not chasing the number on the scale. I'm not obsessed with trying to look a certain way. Like my identity was just, it's asphyxiating around all of these things. And so that moment though was like the suffering became bigger than the fear of change and the comfort zone. And so it really catapulted me into this healing journey of many layers of healing physically, emotionally, energetically, hormonally, building self-worth, learning like how to actually love myself and heal things like people pleasing and
Yeah.
really completely reshape my identity. And that's really what birthed my business was, oh my gosh, if I struggled with this to the level I did, how many other women are struggling? And it's 90% of the female population in North America, by the way,
Yeah.
struggling with some form of emotional eating behaviors or body image issue.
Yeah.
And it just really inspired me. I'm like, I went through that because I am here to help women heal and break free of this for good. It's not supposed to be, oh, well, maybe you'll manage it and it'll come back. Sometimes no, like I help my clients fully gain freedom from this, which is what we should be able to do if we really address the roots.
Yeah, I mean, especially because like I have friends who've been sober for years and they can be in a bar with you. They can be, you can like, they
Mm,
like, and so I always thought like, if someone who can have such a destructive behavior addiction with alcohol or drugs can be around it and not tempted, then there should be able to do that with food. But the thing that like struck my attention, I think we can, your gut is an interesting beast because what you feed it, it starts to crave. And so
mm,
like, and at a young age, if what you're feeding it is processed foods and sugar, and you don't know better because you're just doing whatever like is allowed, you're changing your microbiome. And then it is telling you you're craving. So you've got your own stuff in your own head that
mhm.
you've got the outside world who's put pressure on you, good or bad. And then you've got your gut going, but I really want those Oreo cookies. Like
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop until I get what I need because the bacteria in my gut is saying
Mhm.
I
Feed
need that.
me,
Yes.
feed me. Yeah.
Yes. So I find like I really do feel for people where they don't have this freedom because it is almost all encompassing. Like here you were telling
Mhm.
a story about 22, like you can't really grow in any career or relationship or life with this kind of thing
No.
going on around in your brain.
Heck no, no, I was broke. My bank account was always in the red. I was single. I was isolating. I didn't wanna see anyone because I didn't want people to notice I'd gained weight, and I felt so triggered when I'd go
Mhm.
out and be around people and food
Mhm.
that it was just like, there's just no point in doing anything, but you're right, like and that's why I think so many people keep in these behaviors because we're not taught and educated that with binge and emotional eating to whatever level you're dealing with, there's not just emotional eating triggers, there's physical emotional eating triggers like candida overgrowth, there's hormonal imbalances that trigger emotional eating, being a sensitive empath triggers emotion like, there's so many different things to potentially look at, and I didn't know any of that until I started healing it. And then, of
Yeah.
course, one of the blocks with candida, that unhealthy gut overgrowth, is you look at a lot of the protocols and they're like, cut out all this stuff. And while if you're in a binge or emotional eating behavior, restriction is a massive trigger to rebel with food and then go eat all the things you're not supposed to have. So there is, in my opinion, a like approach and a method to healing your relationship with food while supporting your gut and then clearing that stuff out without intensive restriction that you don't end up like going back. But the gut and the cravings, I had the worst candida that like I did a test that they had ever seen. No wonder antibiotics, excessive sugar intake, high stress levels, like the cravings were so bad. So I totally get what you're talking about with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so I wanna kinda fast forward because, like, obviously, like, in your 20s, you were able to go on the journey,
Mhm.
but we get older, and if we you brought up hormones and gut health, and it's like so most of the people listening are in their 40s,
Yeah.
and by the way, it's never too late to figure out your health journey, loves,
No.
but with perimenopause, like, it's gonna hit every woman who's listening, and
Mhm.
the few good men that are listening, it's gonna hit every woman that you know. So you
Yeah.
may as well don't tune out because you gotta know what's going on so you can be supportive. How does a binge or, like, emotional eating, people-pleasing lifestyle affect perimenopause? Is it, like, just gonna continue to be the same and everyone who goes to the same perimenopause? Is it gonna make perimenopause worse? Like, what should we be looking at?
Yeah, good question. Likely it's going to make your perimenopause experience worse. And here's the thing, if you never had your hormones tested ever, or not in your 20s or your 30s, mid 30s, you could have had deficiencies in your 20s. I was fighting postmenopausal at 24 from all the stuff I had put my body through. I had no progesterone. My estrogen was through the roof. My thyroid was a mess. I had the highest cortisol stress hormone that, again, like the test people had ever seen. So, and that was in when I was 24. And then I course corrected it, thank goodness. And then, perimenopause has been easier going into it, but it's going to potentially be more difficult because if you have had deficiencies with your hormones for years and you don't know about them, guess what? Things really start to change when you hit that 35 to 37 mark going into your 40s. And so if you're already fatigued, if you have already retained water, gained weight more easily, you already have a thyroid issue, right? You're putting yourself last, like these issues amplify because our cortisol starts to gradually go up once we hit perimenopause. We start to see more depletion with progesterone and estrogen, or for some women, it's skyrocketing because of gut flora issues, too many toxins in the body. And like I said, a lot of women have a thyroid issue and don't even realize they do, or it's not being properly dealt with. And our thyroid hormones start to can start to move in the wrong direction if we're not paying attention. Our inflammatory load goes up. We need enough progesterone, which is one of our sex hormones, to combat inflammation, which will show up in the body in the forms of redness, heat, swelling. Retention is one of the biggest ones I see, like your rings fit tighter, your bra strap fits tighter, your face feels puffy. But if we don't have enough progesterone, we can't combat that inflammation. And so you will feel like your clothes are fitting tighter. All your old tricks you used to use to help you lose or maintain weight don't work the same anymore. So if you're trying to diet or cut calories or burn calories and it's not working, it's because there is so much more to look at here
Mhm.
that the body's like, no. So
Well,
there's a lot.
thank you for bringing that up because, like, I'm a Pilates instructor and
Mhm.
I have an on-demand platform. And one of the things we do not say is weight loss. It's on
Yeah.
purpose because the science is there. I wish the media would get part of it, which is like
Yeah.
you can work out and it can support a journey, but it isn't the journey.
Mhm.
And so I
100%.
actually cannot claim that Pilates will help you with anything other than like muscle strength, mobility, like the things that like I know from experience. But as far as like what the scale does,
Mhm.
that is all most of that is hormones and then what you're eating and then, all this other stuff.
Mhm.
And I it just really pains me because I I don't do the show because I think anyone needs to change their body in any way. That's to
Mhm.
me, like, what I do think is you need to be the strongest person you can be for the people and you love. Like that is important. Life is not easy if you're weak, but I
Mhm.
think like knowing our bodies, like understanding like how our hormone health can affect our ability to show up in this world. Like this is podcast called Be It Till You See It. And like everything you're bringing up is like talking about how our bodies are going to go through harder things if we're not taking care of it. And then
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what your goals are. It doesn't matter if you want to be a writer, author, coach, anything, because if your gut is telling you stuff, if it's causing your body to produce or not produce hormones, then you are then having other issues with maybe how you're eating, it's going to affect everything.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Well, and here's another thing, right? Progesterone. We need enough progesterone to help us produce GABA to help with falling asleep and with helping to produce serotonin, one of your mood boosting neurotransmitters. So when women say, I don't feel like myself, we've got to look at what's going on in the gut, the hormones. But then we also have to look at where are you on your priority list? Because most women are last or close to last because it's their comfort zone to put everyone else first. But then this is where it really hits us hard in perimenopause because again, you're starting to have these depletions happen, or maybe they've been happening for a long time. And this is where they really get loud and will pronounce specific symptoms or things that are just not so easy to resolve like they used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have a thing we say like self-care isn't selfish. Like it's actually,
Hmm.
I actually think it's quite selfish if you do not prioritize yourself first. I think you're
Agreed.
actually like, trying to think that you're a bigger deal than you are. Like, and then you get mad at
Yeah.
people. And really like actually if you take care of yourself first, if you are the one who's going to sleep, if you're asking your partner like, hey, I'll do the wake ups, but you do the go, like these kinds of things, then you actually can have more love and more energy and more to give people. But if you don't, then you're actually going to be a drain on them. You're actually going to cause them to have to take care of you sooner. So let's talk to the people who maybe are already in perimenopause or after menopause. Is it too late for them?
Oh
Like,
no.
if then,
Mm-mm.
yeah, okay, let's get into that.
Yeah, no, definitely not too late. I think what you have to remind yourself is that your body's always trying to heal. It doesn't matter where you are in your life cycle. I have helped women with all of this from their 20s to their 80s, and they've seen things balance and regulate. So your body's always trying to heal, but we have to look at what's in the way of the healing and how are you in your own way and how is your mindset and your habits and behaviors in the way, right? So I think one of the biggest things we have to look at first is what kind of relationship do you have with food and what kind of relationship do you have with yourself? And while we're looking at that, we've got to get your hormones tested. And here's something that I see with especially North America, but you may say, "Oh yeah, I went to my doctor, they did the testing, they said everything's fine, it's not my hormones," or it's just once you're a certain age, there's nothing you can do, so you just have to deal with it. And I will tell you no to both of those with all due respect. Number 1, the ranges for testing in North America are far too big. In my opinion, they're probably triple to quadruple what they should be, and they're making them bigger.
Yep.
So a lot of women will have imbalances in the normal ranges. I did myself. And the second thing is, like I said earlier, your body's always trying to heal, but it's just that finding the right people to work with to help you pinpoint what's going on and helping you connect your symptoms to your habits, to your test results. And then what steps do we need to start taking to regulate things? Now, we've been conditioned like, do a test, take a supplement. Now, testing is very important information, and vitamins can be a great part of your healing journey, but it can turn into a quick fix if you think all you need is a few supplements to course correct this. Okay. Because what we're not asking ourselves is why did I end up with severe adrenal fatigue in the first place, which is where your cortisol gets way too high? How did I end up with hypothyroid, underactive sluggish thyroid, or Hashimoto's, the autoimmune condition in the first place? Why is my progesterone so low? What kind of cycles have I been having in my 20s, 30s? Was it easy to get pregnant? What kind of, menopausal symptoms am I having? Like we need to start asking why and not just, "Oh, I got a result. Now I'm taking this vitamin. How come it's not changing?"
I love this.
Well, again, like, I think supplements can become a quick fix. Like, "Oh, yeah," like, I in the DMs all the time, people are like, "What's just tell me what supplement to take." I'm like, number 1, I can't do that because it's illegal for me to do so. Number 2, you're missing the point. Like, we've gotta look at your lifestyle and everything. It's not just a hormone test and then a supplement. If you don't change the habits and the behaviors, you're just gonna get pissed off at your practitioner that they didn't help you and that it's not working when right? We need to
Yeah.
look at all of it, all
I
of it.
I couldn't agree more. Years ago, I was going through some crazy digestive issues. People who've been listening for a while know about this. I like like horrible, just would wake up every morning like a flat stomach, no inflammation, would go to bed every night, look like I was like 8 months pregnant, just terrible. I even took pictures because I was like, is this in my head? Like, am I making this up? Like, and I would like find myself looking at people going, well, they ate dinner and they look the same after they ate dinner. I eat dinner. I don't look the same. Like, what is going on? And I went through so many different doctors and I could get zero help. They just wanted to call it IBS. And I'm like, I refuse that label, sir, because that label is nothing. That just is like, it's zero. It just means this is what I have. And like, so I like walked off of that and I paid for this guy to take these tests. And he actually works with a lot of athletes and celebrities and helps them either gain or lose weight for roles, or for a lot of athletes, it's like I was hitting goals before and now I'm not. And he can look at what's going on in their blood. And then he can go, okay, well, what changed, right? And he's like, oh, I was really stressed out, so I took up oil painting. He's like, where are you oil painting? He's like, in my room. He's like, let's not do that. That's why there's lead in your body. Yeah. You got oil paint outside, sir. Like, but at any rate, so going back to him, does this test, and he goes, technically, a lot of these things are in range, but let's explain in range. In the States, at least, I don't know if it's the rest of the world. It's not my area of expertise. They took a bunch of people, and then they dropped the first 2.5% and the last 2.5%, and they called that a range. Yeah. But we actually don't know if that range is optimal for everybody or that body. And so I really test any doctors I work with. If they say, oh, you're in range, you're good, I actually wait for them to say, but while you're in range, you're not in range for, like, I really do wait to see, like, are they going to qualify this? Because I don't feel good. And so I don't care that my B12 is in range. I feel low. I feel low energy. Exactly. And so I work with someone recently who was like, okay, these levels are in range, but they might be low for you. So we will put you on this, but we also have to wait for these tests to come back to figure out what caused this in the first place. And I was like, ding, 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 you passed the test. And sure enough, there's something going on in my gut. It's been going on for a long time. We were able to tame a lot of it. But I had a parasite, I had a couple other bad bacterias. And so those things are affecting my body's ability to produce the hormones it should be able to do on its own in this moment. So I think, like, for everyone listening, it's okay to change doctors. It's hard, especially living in the States. I'm not going to say it's easy. I'm not going to say it's cheap. I'm not going to say that any of that, but you have to advocate for yourself.
You do. You have to advocate for yourself. You can't be afraid to get second opinions. And I think something that we have been, like, especially here in Canada, because quote unquote, we have free healthcare, doesn't mean it's good. Okay. Because you get 5 minutes, you get one thing, they'll flip through your blood work, everything's fine. See you later. Right. That's not healthcare. So one thing that I'm always saying is we need to recondition ourselves to normalize investing in our health, to be willing to spend money investing in the vessel that is literally carrying you through every moment of your life. You have no problem spending $1,500 on an iPhone, spending money on this and that and this and this and this and this. But then people get triggered going, that's expensive for my health. Why do I have to pay for that? And it's like, where is the normalization of that? And so part of it is getting second, third opinions and being willing to save or to put money into investing in your health, because it's everything. And unfortunately, like, I think it's going to change, but as things stand right now, you get very little from your primary care unless they're a very good, very thorough doctor, which there are some out there. But I've cut out the middleman with all my clients. I do the testing with all of them because I'm tired of half the doctors being like, you don't need that. Who's ordering it? Why do you want this? You're not in the age range. You look fine. You don't need this test done. And the doctor questioning them. And then the other half doing them. And then, scanning through and saying everything's fine. And then I say, bring that to me. Let's look at it. And I'm like, I'm seeing some stuff that, I can understand why you're having the symptoms you are.
Right. Because that's the thing. It's like, it's for someone reading and listening. So there's like, I can look at the paperwork and I can say, okay, this person should be fine. But if I'm hearing you say I'm tired and I go, okay, well, you're in range, but this is on the lower of the range. Yeah, that's probably why you're tired. Or we could try it out. Like there's like we can try these different things out and we can test. It is called a practice. Yeah, they could practice. So, I mean, the joke is like I pay a fuck ton of money for health insurance here, and I get the same response from a doctor. So I too had to pay out. But there's a study that says like women are more likely to pay for these things, and I think it is changing because a lot of women are thinking, I don't have to put up with this anymore. I don't have to go with my mother's menopause. I don't have to like hide in a corner and just go, well, this is me now. And this is how it's going to be. And I'm just going to have these sweats. It's like, no, there is studies out there. And the more women voice their concerns and do the research and demand from their
Mhm.
professionals that that's what they want, it is going to change things. I do believe that we can change these
Yeah.
things. So, any habits or tips that we should consider when it comes to our hormone health and our digestive health that our listeners can take away with you?
100%. So I think one of the first things is start getting into a mindful eating practice, disconnecting from technology, phones, computers, and actually sitting and eating your food mindfully. You'll digest better and you'll be more aware of what physical and emotional satiation feels like when you're eating and you're multitasking. Number one, you're not in digest and rest mode. You're not going to digest properly. Number two, a lot of women I work with also binge or emotionally eat and then they finish their food and they're like, "Oh, but I finished that? Really? Like, I want something else," because they weren't present and they weren't paying attention, and so that you'll never be emotionally satiated when you're not paying attention, and so they pick through the cupboard and then they overeat and then they're hard on themselves, so that helps with that, and it starts to help you what does full feel like? A lot of women don't know that either, and so knowing fullness is also important to prevent overeating, so I think that's important. Getting enough sleep. As you get into perimenopause, and I know you can be awake from 12 to 4 in the morning because your progesterone's too low, your thyroid's off, your blood sugar's off, right? So get your hormones tested. However, also practice good sleep hygiene, ideally disconnecting from technology 15 to 30 minutes before bed, getting to sleep before 11 p.m. Optimal hormone balance is trying to happen between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. And if we're trying to be the night owl or you're binge watching TV, like these habits are not going to help you make perimenopause or menopause easier. I also think for most women, and this is in my experience, because most of them are dealing with hypothyroid, high cortisol, progesterone issues, et cetera, through peri and menopause, fasting until you get your hormone test done. And if everything looks really good, maybe that's going to work for you, but stop skipping meals, stop skipping breakfast. You're going to make things go in the wrong direction.
Mhm.
Eating regularly through the day is very important for blood sugar stability because when we start to get into those perimenopause and menopause phases, our blood sugar can get a lot more sensitive. And deciding to skip breakfast because I want to lose weight or because I don't feel hungry will actually just make that worse. And it can suppress your metabolism more easily. If you're not hungry in the morning, it's either because you have a hunger hormone imbalance or a thyroid issue. So we need to investigate again what is going on. It's not normal to not be hungry. And if we assume I'm not hungry, I shouldn't eat. And then, you're tired, your blood sugar's crashing, you're gaining weight, whatever's going on. This is unfortunately, innocent assumptions that are fueling more stress with the hormones. So eating regularly through the day, ideally eating something small within 30 minutes of waking up to wake up your gut, your blood sugar, metabolism, getting everything going. And then obviously food's going to look a little different for everyone, but again, trying to eat as close to nature as possible, less processed food, protein. Oh my gosh, women don't eat enough protein or fat. Fat is our friend. We need enough fat to balance our hormones and to lose weight and energy, mental clarity. So, starting to feel safe enough eating enough and carbohydrates are also safe. But I'm talking like fruits, veggies, starchy vegetables. Some women can
Yeah.
do grains, some can't. But like we need carbohydrates. All these diets and eating styles that are like cut carbs out. No, we need enough. And here's one
Yeah.
specific example. If you have cortisol issues, so high or low cortisol, adrenal fatigue, burnout is a common like way of people saying it, where you're exhausted and you're gaining weight in the abdomen, you're puffy. Cutting carbs will make that so much worse. And so this is where it comes back to get your health assessed, get your hormones tested, get your gut assessed, work with someone who can look at your whole picture physically, mentally, emotionally, and then help advise you on the best way to eat in support of helping your hormones and gut balance, helping heal your relationship with food. I learned that the hard way. I cut out a bunch of carbs when I was trying to heal my gut. It my hormones were a mess. I gained a ton of weight and I wasn't binge eating.
Right.
So it's innocent. You're trying to just fix things, but then you don't know what's going on and it just makes something worse. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's so I mean, because here's the thing, like, for most people listening, you're elder millennial, young Gen X, and we were raised on the no fat,
I know.
sugar-free
Mhm.
things,
Ugh,
right? And so you got subconsciously you're right, like, fat is not your friend, and it's like your brain really likes it. And, like,
mhm.
but what I found is I'm not someone who, like, counts anything. I
No,
try
me either.
really, really hard. Just go like, is there protein happening every time I'm gonna eat?
Yeah.
Is there
Yeah.
like literally protein on every plate? And then I'm like happily excited for cheese, avocados, like bring it on. But I had a girlfriend who was like, just try this thing out. And I was like, I'll just see what she's doing. every day I was like, I'm not getting enough carbs. What is
Mhm.
going on? And I had to like, and be intentional about it. And I was like, no wonder I don't have enough energy at the end of the day.
Mhm.
I am not fueling myself to have energy
Yes.
in the day, you know? So
Yes.
it was while I quit after like that realization, I was like, well, at least I know now like what's going on. I
Mhm.
just wasn't getting enough fuel, and it can be very difficult. Our lives are very busy. And so like it's not easy to set yourself up for success with food. But I find Brad and I find whenever we actually like batch cook the protein,
Mhm.
we both
Mhm.
are much better the whole
Yeah.
week.
Totally, 100%, because it's the key foundational food that is keeping your blood sugar regulated, right? And
Hmm.
you can't eat the raw protein, you have to cook it. So
Yeah.
it's like you can't just throw it in a bowl with some spices and some
Hmm.
avocado. Yeah, but it gets easier to build those habits over time, like food prep, right? It's all about muscle building, and it's a slow process, so be patient with your progress. It will shift, and then you get to have this much more aligned lifestyle habits and behaviors that are going to support you through perimenopause and menopause much easier if you're patient and you don't see it as a quick fix and you actually see it as a lifestyle changes.
Yeah. Okay. Can we talk about the quick fix though? Because I think that that's like easier said than done. And I feel like you are an expert in this because you had to retrain yourself. How, how did you like retrain yourself to be patient for the results you were looking for?
Yeah. Okay, good question. So, trial and error, right? Going back and forth and continuing to fail and remind myself, "Oh, yeah, this quick fix stuff isn't working," because I keep ending back in the same spot.
Mm.
A lot of affirmations and, like, subliminal subconscious mind reprogramming. I think building a self-care practice where I started to see the value in slowing down, prioritizing my needs, and bringing, like, meditation and things where I had to, like, slow down and be still, helped me practice the feeling of patience in my body. And then as I started to feel better and experience the results, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, patience. This is why I need to be patient," because what we have to look back on is if I've been struggling with these symptoms or these behaviors or fatigue or whatever it is for years or decades, I've got to understand that it's going to take more than a week, a month, like a few months to fully shift this potentially because it's years and decades of the ladder,
Mm.
right? So, constant reminders. And then over time, it becomes more of your natural state of being. And yes, sometimes you'll get impatient. However, we have to remind ourselves there's so much value in allowing ourselves to be on the journey. There's lessons, there's growth, there's evolution as you are as a human, right? And a woman on this planet. And so I think it's just so important to understand like your healing journey is one of the most valuable journeys you can choose to go on because it's going to help you grow and evolve in ways you can't imagine right now. And becoming in tune and learning how to listen to your body is the most powerful gift you can give yourself because once you know how to listen, you know what you need. And you can have your team of people in case there's something you can't figure out to get that assistance from, but you feel powerful and confident and you're unstoppable. And that allows you to live the most powerful, high quality of life and reach your goals and have better relationships and everything because you feel empowered and you learn, you trust your body. And I just think that's priceless.
Mm. So good. Amber, so good. Okay. Well, I could talk to you forever, but we're going to take a brief break and then find out what people can find you, follow you, work with you. Where do you like to hang out, Amber? Where can people connect with you if this was like speaking to them and they're like, yeah, this woman gets me? Where can they go?
Yeah, so you can go to the website amberapproved.ca if you want to learn more about body freedom, take the free emotional eating quiz if you're wondering if you're struggling, or if you want to book a 30-minute consultation. It's complimentary. We can connect and talk about whatever is going on for you hormones, gut, emotional eating. I work with people all over the world, so it doesn't matter where you're located. And the podcast is called the No Sugarcoating Podcast. If you liked our conversation, you'll love it's over 500 episodes. And then I'm on social, YouTube and Instagram, and it's my name, Amber Romaniuk, Romaniuk.
Wonderful. You've actually given us a ton already. So thank you for that. But, you know, for our peeps who are like, I'm obsessed, but okay, where do I start first? Or what should I do next? Or what should I be thinking about? The bold, executable, intrinsic, or targeted steps people can take to be it till they see it. What do you have for us?
Yeah, I think the first thing is what symptoms are you experiencing right now? Pull out a piece
Mm.
of paper and on a scale of 1 to 10, if you have low energy, 10 being I have good energy, 1's really bad, where are you rating yourself? Start being aware of the intensity of your symptoms because that's going to allow you to go, oh, maybe because I have fatigue, I need to really emphasize that to my doctor or whomever I'm going to reach out to. Like when you know your symptoms and you can communicate that, it is going to help you get the answers and the support to resolve those things. Second, build a self-care routine. I know we're all busy, but if you've got time to be on scrolling on your phone, watching TV, you've got time to build a self-care practice. Start with 5 to 10 minutes a few days a week. Even if it's just sitting or slowing down and practicing the art of doing nothing, because in order to balance your hormones, you've got to slow down and regulate your nervous system. I think the last thing is be patient and compassionate with yourself. Try to build a friendship with your body. She's not working against you. He's trying to help you, but we just haven't been taught how to work with our bodies.
Oh, so good. So good, Amber. Thank you so much. I got so inspired. I also got reminded of so many things. I learned so many things. I'm super excited about this. I know our listeners are going to have to share this with several of their friends. So thank you for being here and sharing your amazingness with us. You guys, how are you going to use these tips in your life? Tag Amber, tag the Beit Pod. Send this to a girlfriend who needs it, one who's been tired a long time and or is going, I got to do this. I'm going to do this. And you just feel them doing a lot and not listening to their bodies enough. This might be the messaging here. So until next time, be it till you see it.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day.
Be It Till You See It is a production of the Bloom Podcast Network. If you want to leave us a message or a question that we might read on another episode, you can text us at +1 310 905 5534 or send a DM on Instagram at beitpod.
It's written, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell.
It is transcribed, produced, and edited by the epic team at Disenyo.co.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to Melissa Solomon for creating our visuals.
Also to Angelina Herrico for adding all of our content to our website. And finally, to Meredith Root for keeping us all on point and on time.